All right, good evening, everyone. It is August the 13th at 7:10, and I would accept a motion to start the public hearing for Ordinance 04-2019, trash collection.
I'll make that motion stated.
I'll second it.
First and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so this meeting is now in order. I would like to request, from an agenda item, we have here Mr. Jose Rivera, who is in a predicament. We didn't have a work session last week, and he would like to have a request for a curb cut so that he can go to Prince George's County to put in a request for his driveway. And I would like, if we could add onto our agenda a contingent approval for a curb cut. Can we add that to the agenda? Does somebody make a motion for us to add that to the agenda?
Yes.
Yes, I'll make that motion stated.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we will be adding this to the agenda after the hearing. Mr. Rivera will have you come up and give us an update on what it is that you're wanting to do with your driveway. All right? Okay. So being that this is not a meeting, and being that we have had some circumstances, not a regular standard meeting, the weekend before last, the weekend before this most recent, the significant circumstances, and we normally would do a moment of silence in a regular meeting. I would like us to stand and have a moment of silence in consideration of 31 souls that lost their life in one weekend, and all other things of those who are out there, the first responders, and those that, anything that you need your heart to sing for. Thank you. All right. Okay, starting meeting, we have, this is primarily a public hearing for Ordinance 04-2019, trash collection, and we introduced this ordinance on, Mr. Barwood.
June 11th.
Oh, here it is. June 11th. We introduced the ordinance June 11th, 2019. Or enacted. This ordinance shall take effect 45 days following its enactment. So it's being introduced, it was introduced on the 11th, and then it would be 45 days after today if we vote.
5 days if you vote today.
If we vote today, it would be 45 days, so people still have an opportunity for additional comment, or it just automatically goes into effect. What's the 45 days?
Goes automatically into effect if you adopt it today,
Oh, if we adopt it today. So what's the 45 days?
from the date of its adoption.
Okay.
Right,
If you
but
adopt it today, if you adopt it next month, it goes into effect 45 days. To make it go into effect immediately, you should adopt it as an emergency ordinance. And I have what's necessary to put in there before it's signed to make it an emergency ordinance, if that's what you wish.
Well, we don't have 5 because the emergency ordinance requires unanimous vote,
Yes.
and we don't have all 5 members here. Which reminds me, is there a motion to excuse Councilmember Blue? She is on personal leave right now.
I'll make that motion to excuse Councilmember Blue.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, so Council, let the record reflect that Councilmember Blue has been excused. Okay, so I'm just trying to understand what's going on in the 45 days, if you can just explain.
It's just the period between the adoption and the enforcement for everybody to get ready for.
Okay, so the reason for it is to make sure you fully inform people, this ordinance has been enacted, and therefore you got 45 days to make
Yes.
sure you got yourself ready, so.
Yes.
Giving people the information.
I'm sorry, I
Yes.
can't hear you. So you're saying if this was we adopt this today, we have 45 days to reach our residents to say, these are, before we can start any like fines or anything that, that may, we have 45 days to inform them of the expectations of our new ordinance. Is that correct?
Right, that's correct.
Or is it 45 days after June the 11th?
It's 45 days after today, if you adopt it today. If you adopt it at another meeting, it's 45 days after that meeting. If you don't adopt it before the end of the year, then we're going to have to reintroduce it, and you'll have an opportunity to hold another public hearing and to adopt or not adopt it at your will.
But at this point, we do have 45 days to make sure that everybody, just like we did with the parking permit, where we just gave people a whole lot of time
Yes,
in order to say, get ready, get ready, get ready, because this is going to be,
and some people will get ready.
Yeah, but I think
Tomorrow,
with the
and
parking
some people
permit,
will
we
never
kinda-
get ready.
We sent emails out to let them know it was coming and stuff. And I know we did introduce this on June 11th. And I could just say for me, I would have wanted to go out again, email to the residents. And I didn't see it. And I know that doesn't take effect of us voting today, but I didn't see it. Especially if it's going to affect certain ways how residents do their trash. Because trash and cats are very important in our town. Trash is very important, so I feel comfortable of having, I mean, I don't know how the other council feel, the mayor, at least having a public hearing next month where we can send this out and let them know exactly what we're going to be doing. And we can have more people come up. And they may not come out, but I'm just saying I will feel comfortable if we send this out in the email.
and of course, we have a right to do that, just remembering that whenever we do enact it, it's going to be 45 days. The one thing that I will say is what's inside of this ordinance has changed is something we've been saying to people for a long time in our previous newsletters, in our little notes that we send out for trash. When we first got the recycle bins, we've had recycle meetings at National Night Out and by the Green Team. So we're not really putting anything new in here than what we've been said. It's just that what we're doing now would be to make it finable, because it wasn't finable, it wasn't enforceable before. All we just kept telling them is separate your recycling from your trash. That's it. We just kept saying it, but we had no enforcement tools. So that's all that this really is to become an enforcement tool. And I get what you're saying, and I do think that the 45 days could be, if we adopt it today, could be an opportunity for us to really put a strong run on it. Because even with the parking permit, we enacted that as an emergency ordinance, which means it went into effect right away, but we still gave everybody 45 days before enforcement, so that we sent out emails, we sent out flyers, and we can still do all of that with this as well.
Yeah, but I'm thinking with this particular ordinance that we're passing, like I said, trash, and like you said, I forgot to put parking.
Yeah.
That's very important as far as one of the key things that I know that our residents talk about. My thing is, if we don't adopt this today, it allows our code enforcer to, maybe with a council, with our public work, to knock on doors, because I know for the Green Team, we did door handlers. I've even put stuff in the newsletters when we had it. We also put stuff by the shopping centers about recycling. But until somebody physically knocks on your door and say, hey, this is going to go in effect, or can I speak to your parents, I just think we owe our residents just one, to put it in the email and just try before we introduce the 45 days, we can still send more educational stuff out on our Facebook or next door, just reminding this is going to happen, because we do have a lot of residents that still today put plastic bags in their recycling. And I know, I had to stop my son, forbid him to do, he does it again, and then I come around and I get fined, I'm going to be upset. So I think we can do, as far as having something for the kids, just a little more education. It won't hurt us to hold it for next month.
But what I'm saying is, we have 45 days to do everything that you just said do, which we can make happen. We even have some new students that are here now who have agreed to do community service hours with us, and they could, after school, go and knock on doors and pass out something. So we have 45 days to do it. What we, in essence, do, if we don't do it now, is that we change 45 days into 75 days, which means by the time we've done it, people have forgotten because we haven't enforced it. And my question would be, in terms of public comment in relationship to, there's two things inside of this change of ordinance. One is to change the size of the, and it's a good time for me to explain what's in the change in the ordinance. The changes in the ordinance is on section 5104, we changed trash containers to trash and recycling containers. So we're adding recycling to the ordinance as a form of ordinance. We adding, except as provided herein, trash and recycling shall, in accordance with subtitle 21, refuge of the Prince George's County Code. So again, we're adding that to be trash. This ordinance in section B of 5-104 changes the gallon size from 40 gallons to 60 gallons, which allows our residents, if they want to purchase their own containers, to purchase larger containers than the ones that they purchase today. And the next thing that's changed in here, from that same section in C, it's been added, each private residence in the town shall, in addition to one or more containers for trash and garbage as provided in section 5-104B, hereof maintain one or more containers for recycling of discarded recycling materials. Just add
All
it in.
containers. Then it continues.
Strike out.
Well, strikeout means it's
We're striking out, such containers shall be yellow in color and clearly marked as containers for recycling. We're adding, all containers for recycling shall be clearly marked that they are for recyclables and shall have a lid removed and permanently attached to, and is being strucken. So having
At
have a
all
lid
times.
that at all time covers the recyclable containers. Recyclables shall not be placed in plastic bags, whether or not such recyclings are thereafter placed in market recycling containers. The penalty for violation of this section shall be $50 for each violation per resident per day. So this is the only change in here, is the size of the can. One, recyclables must have a top closed lid, and two, they cannot have plastic bags. And those are things that we've been saying for a really long time. This just adds a penalty to it. And our code enforcement officer, after 45 days, would not issue a ticket. He would issue a warning. So then they, even beyond the 45 days, they would have another week to correct the problem. So I understand completely what you're saying about whether people heard or didn't hear, or didn't come to our YouTube channel last month, because this was, in June, because this was read off in that meeting in June as well. I just don't feel like, from a public hearing perspective, we're going to have a lot of people argue with what's going on here, what we're asking for, because we've been asking for it for a long time. So another public hearing is because we feel like more people are going to come out, but we'll have 50 days to educate people.
No, well, no, that's not my point. I don't think, I'm happy to see the people that is here now. I hope we do get more participations in our residents coming out to our meeting. I just wanted to make sure on our end that we notify them on a timely manner and send more, we'll send it out in emails. You're correct. Everything in this ordinance is something that we should be doing already. Only other thing I had, I know in the past, we talked about having stickers going on the recycling cans. Is that something that we're gonna do, or should we make sure the residents put an X over top of them? I mean, I think by now, everybody knows which one's recycling, but just
Well,
trying
I think the recycling has the recycle thing on it. The symbol, the recycling symbol are on the cans. But the X is for yard waste. When somebody wants to put yard waste in a trash can, they put an X on it, and then the Bates will pick that up as yard waste with the X. I think we had talked about was maybe doing a list like we did in previously several times, but make it a sticker list so
They
that
can
it be
stick
on the
on it.
side of their trash can, and they can see for themselves every day what things can and can't be recycled.
Yeah.
But
Yes, I was explaining to one of our residents that I know Hyattsville and a lot of towns, they fine their residents if things are, that does not belong in the recycling bin. They give them a fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I go over a friend's house and they're like, no, because they know they're going to get fined, so.
And we haven't even gone that far yet. We're just trying to stop people from putting plastic bags inside of the recycle bin. And maybe the next level is that we actually look at what is improperly in the bin and start making a record of that. But we can get past just the tops are closed. We'll be making a lot of progress. But at any rate, I'm going to open this up to public comment. We can make a decision whether to vote now or later after we've heard from the public in relationship to this ordinance. So does anyone want to come up and make some comments in relationship to these changes, which are about recycling and the size of our trash cans?
Well, I got here a little late, so I haven't had a chance.
So while you're walking up, I'll tell you in a nutshell, this ordinance changes the maximum size trash can from 40 to 60 if you buy your own
recycling
trash can. And it also provides that for recycling, you must have a lid closed on your container and that you will not put plastic bags in the recycling container. Those are the three changes to this trash ordinance.
Okay. I came mainly because I'm looking around town when I walk, and I see that they're not collecting the trash appropriately in a timely manner. There's a toilet that's been sitting outside of the 4200 block of Newton for the last month. People go by there every day. I don't know how they miss it if we're doing 3 days of collection.
Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, well, I'm just, my concern is this.
Yeah, I would've
I don't see the trash company picking up in a timely manner, one, and or picking up the days that it was heavy trash pickup for Wednesday. They're not picking up. I don't know whether the residents are not calling to inform the company or the town that they need a special pickup. Is there a reason why they need to? I think the issue is, in the past, if you put something out on heavy trash pickup day, it was picked up. Now you have to call, and when you call, not only is it a hassle, but you get one person that says, okay, I'll take care of it, and then you may call back to verify with the company that you received the call. They don't know anything about it, so the trash doesn't get picked up. So I understand about the containers and the type of recycle that goes in recycle. That's an issue that's pervasive throughout the state, because everyone's having problem trying to identify what's recycled and not recycled. And I had proposed that we have a workshop on recycling through the Garden Club. So I hope that does come to fruition, because the department that is responsible for that, that person does an excellent job in identifying what is recyclable and what's not. So I think the town would benefit greatly from that. But again, my concern is that we have 3 days of collection of trash. Wednesday gets omitted for some reason. People put their heavy trash out, and it's there week after week after week after week. So my concern is, what can be done about that. Again, that toilet's been sitting in front of the house for over 4 weeks now. And it came out on a heavy day for trash pickup. It was put out like a Tuesday night a month ago, and it's still sitting there. And
So what I would encourage all people to do, if a Wednesday passes and you see something out on the street that didn't get picked up,
well, the other issue,
is to call the town hall right away.
they don't pick up till maybe 8:30 and 9 at night.
Right, so if it's but I'm saying if it's Thursday and what was there on Wednesday is still there, just call.
Oh, well, there,
Because then we're gonna have them come out with a special pickup to pick it up, and it'll be gone in a day instead of 4 weeks. I try to drive all over the place just to look and see what I see so that I can call it in, but I need more people's eyes, and I know the council do the same thing, is looking, but we don't see everything, you know, from when things might
yeah,
happen.
I understand that, but that's the other concern I have, because some Mondays, they're not picking up until 9:30, 10 o'clock. One night, they were picking up at 11:30 at night, which it's good that they at least came, but
So,
according to the ordinance, you got to get your stuff off the street, because you're in violation of the town ordinance because you left your trash receptacles out past the time. You have a certain time frame to put them out, and you have a time frame to remove them. But if they don't come till 9:30, 10:30 at night, and then you wonder if they collect everything or can they see everything. So, I'm done.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this ordinance has a lot to do with what you're saying. One of the issues that we have, well, we have several issues in our trash collection circumstances. And we're not blind to that, and we're gradually, piece by piece, trying to pick, keeping records. I got pictures. I drive
Yeah.
around on trash day and recycle day, and I just take pictures.
I take pictures also.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our goal is that we can cumulatively share with Bates what we see, as opposed to the one call here and the one call there and the one call there.
Well, do we have to call them? Because, like I said before, they instituted this call in town to be.
Right, that was a $10,000
That
cost
was
savings.
Yeah, that was a budget decision.
So that was a budget
That was-
decision.
yeah.
And that's been 5 years since we changed it. So at this point, there's not a real good reason why people don't know they need to call. I would highly suggest people just call here. Every Tuesday,
That's kind of,
no, every Tuesday, Kayla will send an email to anybody who's called here out to Bates. Because contacting Bates, my experience, what I've heard from
Yeah.
residents, is it's a frustrating experience. And I've actually seen it be frustrating, watching someone call and trying to get the right person, and then somebody said they took the record, but then the record doesn't show up. We got no idea if you called directly to Bates, and I really don't think it's that much of a pressure on our staff to just take that phone call.
also, Mayor, you can also go on Bates' website. You can, because that's how I do my ball. You can go in and fill it out, and it asks you for a list of things. A lot of times I say, because I say miscellaneous, and they come the next day, and they'll have the list and stuff. So I found out, still to be calling, I do it online. It seems like it's easier to do it online.
It is. But what's
Even-
frustrating to me is that because we have people calling Bates, when somebody argues, I called, I put my name on the list, and then Bates goes, no, we don't have no record on the list. I got nothing in the middle because we don't have a record of who did it. If we could get to a point that they just call us, not Bates at all, we know that person called, and it would be on us if they didn't get on the list. And I just feel like we get more control that way, and
Or
we can be
email.
more accountable that way.
But also, if they email, they give you like a number, so they're more, I know they respond to the emails. And Julianne, I do feel you if you saying we used to sit stuff out and have to worry about it, because I'm really bad. Like today, I told Tracy, forgot to email Bates.
And I
You know,
forget.
it happens, but
It does happen to forget.
I just don't want I hear you saying the staff, I don't want them to be, because we got all the hall rentals, I don't want the staff to be overwhelmed when people are, I know that's what taxpayers are paying the staff for, I understand all that, but they also, we rent this building out, and if, I don't know if you all come up here, the phones be ringing so loud, I don't want, say if everybody call the staff up here for Bates pickup, you know, do their, and then the staff has to do it, that can be overwhelming.
I mean,
So, I know some people, seniors or some residents are not, really comfortable with the computer, yes, call, but
I mean, I don't mind if, even
call
if the
the
people
town
were
hall.
sending an email to Bates that they copied us on it. Our challenge is, and this is worse for the staff than taking a call, our challenge is when people call fussing and screaming and hollering because they didn't get picked up, and they're angry, and then they have to deal with that. Where if we had more control, we just took their number, their address down, and we sent it, I think it could calm some things down, because I just see them have to deal with people who are angry like that, often.
yeah, well,
And it's
I
almost always
understand,
about bulk trash.
I understand. I think I've probably been one of those persons that called that they missed my trash, but I try not to take it out on the people that's in the town. I know that it's directly to Bates.
But we want to get stricter on Bates. We want to really be harder on Bates. We want to cumulatively be able to tell them what people are experiencing. You know, I'm observed, and we brought Bates to the meeting before, and we should bring them back. They were supposed to come, they were actually supposed to come in June,
That's why I was telling you.
and then they didn't show up. But one of the arguments they have about us is how poorly we manage our recycling. That our deal with them, and this is real, a part of the deal with them when we got them to bring in the big bins for recycling is because recycling can make them money. And so when we got, in that budget cut, when we changed the bulk and we got the big bins, the cut we got from them and their costs had to do with them making money off of recycling, because they can make money off of recycling. They can't make money off of our recycling because it's so poorly done. If a plastic bag is in the recycle bin, that's trash to Bates. Trash costs the monies, recycling makes the money. And so as long as we're costing them money, it's making, even though we have our argument, they got one on us too. I want to get rid of the one that they have on us. So when we clear up and we get our recycling straight, then we can go really strong on Bates and what they're not doing, you know.
Mayor, for the record, the speaker from the citizenry who's here and is participating in this debate is former Mayor Julianne Bethea, and I'm, for the record, recognizing her as the person participating in this, so that when the record is produced, it will show that she participated, and the remarks that she makes will be attributed to her.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barr.
Thank you, John. Anyway, the other thing that I wanted to say is this. Since we have the ability to have the town meetings on our channel, why can't we run a recycling and tutorial that it comes on repeatedly throughout the day? Just like the meetings come on and you can tune in and tune them out, and it tells how to
That's a good
rent
idea.
the town hall and the other business. Why not put a tutorial on what is trash, what is recyclable? And that way the citizens can go to the
YouTube
TV
channel
station
anytime.
or to the YouTube station to get the information.
I love that
They,
idea.
That's a
you
great
did it
idea.
on a door hanger when
Yeah,
you
and that's
made
the
the
one you-
initial
yeah.
changes. But people move in and out of town, and every jurisdiction has a little difference in their ordinance regarding trash and recycle that they may come with, but it's not effective in this town. So maybe using a small tutorial where you just run something, do's, don'ts, in Spanish and English, and that way people can refer to it. They don't even have to even go to the YouTube. They just go to the channel station on the cable and see it running, just like Colmar Manor, Town Hall, Rent, and so forth.
I love it.
And we had that, the green team had passed it out before, we had our newsletter, so I have one posted in my kitchen that you
Yeah, the
did
door
for
hanger
us.
thing.
Yeah.
They can just
Well,
use
we have
that.
that.
Yeah.
The one that's posted in my kitchen is that one too.
Yeah.
But and that's come out a
That's a
couple of
good
times.
idea.
But she's actually saying,
Yeah,
I'm just
put
saying,
it on
the
she's
website.
video, put it on
Well,
the,
actual
put it
video.
on the TV channel and just let it run.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.
thank you, that would be really great. I like that idea, especially if we have a live person. It might be something on YouTube already, and we can just do a link
Just
for people to
link
go and
Link
see.
it on there.
Or get the kids in town involved, have a discussion. Everybody want to watch their kids on TV. That may be something.
I like that too. We can have them
know.
do a skit.
Yeah, let's recycle.
And then the kids do a skit, and we put the skit out on the channel for,
Still, yeah, post it, yeah.
yes. Actually,
Actually, we should do it.
yeah, no, and I actually think that the recycling stuff is on the, on our website at least. I think recycling is on our website, what the green team have put together with you guys. But not on the channel or on
Yeah, I
YouTube.
don't think it's on the channel.
All right, any more comments? Well, there's a lot of things, and I do want to say publicly things that we do recognize that people are seeing. The trash collectors are not using the arms on the trash truck to bring in the trash. And so a lot of times they're going in, I mean, I literally, got a videotape. And going in with their arms and putting it into the trash thing because the trash cans are too big for them to pick them up most of the time. But then they wind up leaving trash on the street because they're doing it that way.
That's why the trucks have their, the slot where the trash can goes in and they can just flip it over.
I don't know why they don't use it.
Right, so.
And I did call Rico and I said, Rico, they said that it doesn't work. So he said,
It doesn't work.
he said, the
That's not-
trash collector said the arm's not working. Rico said the arms are working. They just, some reason or another, they choose to take the trash out that way. And that makes no sense to me because why would you choose to put your arm in trash to take trash out? Why would you choose to try to lift this up by yourself if this arm works? So we have to get down to what's the nitty gritty of it all. Our part mainly is this because we need them to stop having a problem with the plastic in the trash cans because that's costing them money. But we've invited them again for October. I think it's October. Yeah, this is August. Well, I think it's next year, right? So, anybody, any other comments here? Yes, Mr. Barr?
If everybody will take a look at their ordinance, on page 2, in the 2 lines above paragraph D, which begins, plastic bags, whether or not such recyclables are, and then there's a misspelling and a continuation, and I would like, if possible, to have the letters TH, THAT at the end of the second line deleted, and then the letters TH added at the beginning of the line that is before paragraph D, so it would read, plastic bags, whether or not such recyclables are thereafter placed in marked containers, marked recyclable containers, excuse me. And if we can have a motion to do that and a second and adopt it, I would appreciate it. That would be an amendment.
So is this amendment to the, this is an amendment to the introduction, correct?
If you have introduced this, it's an
It has
amendment.
been introduced.
Or we can do this at the time of adoption.
Or you can recognize this change in the adoption. Because we could have changed anything before adopting it anyway, actually, as long as it was within context.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so is there any further comments? Okay, without any further comments in relationship to this, again with the summary, this ordinance will change the size gallon capacity trash can an individual can buy from 40 gallons to 60 gallons if they purchase their own trash cans. It then requires that you have a lid on your recycling. Does not have to be permanently connected, it just has to be closed. And that you're not allowed to have plastic bags in the recycling bins. With the amendment for a correction for typo, as Mr. Barr just mentioned. And if this ordinance change is adopted today, it would take effect it would be effective 45 days from now.
Well, you do not have that in your agenda, so it would be better if you adopted it at your September meeting, unless it's the intent of the majority here to adopt it today.
That was
Procedural.
the original intent, was for adoption.
Doesn't say that on your, but you can do that. Someone will move it.
So we would need to add this to the agenda,
Yeah,
even if it's a vote down or vote up. My issue here is time, because we can't really make the things that we need to do. We got 45 days if we adopted it today to educate people on the adoption. We're not going to change this ordinance. I mean, the only thing we would do is make it tougher. But plastic bags, there's no... So if we're going to change it, we have 45 days to inform people. If we wait till next month, it's 45 days plus 30 days, so that's 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75 days.
if that's
before.
not acceptable to you, then adopt it tonight.
What's wrong? Okay,
You can go ahead and
She
adopt
did
it.
not put a line on here for adoption. It says the overview of it, the public comments,
we'd
but
have to do
adoption
this
is
for
not on the
September.
agenda.
yeah.
So we have to put an agenda for September.
So be it. If you want to put it on, is there a motion for us to move this adoption to September?
I'll make that motion to move this adoption till September at our public meeting.
This bill will stand as the public hearing. However, if anyone has any comments or interest that they would like to make, they always have the right to contact us, call us, email. My email is sbarrow@colmarmanor.org. And I'm sure your council people have shared with you there, so if you have any additional comments you want to make before we actually do the adoption, we will have the adoption on the agenda in September. Any objections from the council? Okay, but that's it. This part of this hearing is closed for public comment. We will move now to our addition to the agenda. Mr. Rivera, would you like to come up and explain to us what it is that you want to accomplish? Thank you all. State your name and your address, please.
Okay, hi. Hi, Don. This is my first time coming to the meeting today.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah. I live in this city for the 2004 as this year. I got in my house 3810 Kanye Road. I live in with my wife, my kids, but I have to do I take the making my parking to the house. I think about it like almost like 1 year. I think my mind, but this the time when they come to give me the permit when they do when they do my parking there. Sometimes when I work at night time, my job not for night. When I come back to the house, there's a lot of cars in there. I can't fit on the parking right there. I go parking my car on the other street. But this why I want to take my decision. I want to take my parking to the house. I know how to park my car in somewhere else. I want the parking up front of my house.
Okay, so Mr. Rivera, you can see from the photo where it has his house, he wants to put his parking space right next to where you see that car on the right.
I can't hardly see this.
So right
His
here.
address is on top of his
this is
house. You see the
neighbor?
address on top of his
Yeah,
house?
So he
That's
wants
his house.
to put it right here on the right.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
where that, okay. Because he doesn't
There's
have
a
a driveway.
Yeah, because he doesn't, you don't have a driveway at all, right?
No,
No.
no have.
So
It would just be like how the neighbors
his request to us, we can't approve a driveway. But what we can, because the county has to approve
Right.
him putting in the
Okay.
driveway. But they won't approve him putting in the driveway without us approving him to cut our curb, because it's our curb. So what he would be asking for us today is the permission to cut the curb with the contingency that the county approves the driveway. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Rivera?
No.
So is there a motion for us to give him that contingency approval to cut the curb?
I'll make that motion to stay it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? So I will have a little discussion. There is a concern about what he just said about he comes there and he can't find any parking. We've heard it from several people about this particular area. So I've asked the chief if she can have our patrols very specifically patrol that area. Really should not be that they have a problem parking back there, because they should have room. And the space that's back there for it's just 2 spaces back there for non-permit parking. So we're working on that too, just so we can get that straight. Okay, so any other questions? I'll call for a vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Absent.
Oh.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. We'll give you a letter, come by tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
Someone will have a letter for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you,
All right,
Mr. Rivera.
Thank you, come back.
Yeah, come back.
to meetings, because I know you found it interesting. I saw you nodding your head. Thank you so much. All right, my council members, do we have any other discussion? We'll go to the order.
No.
With none?
None.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes,
Yes,
I'll make
I'll
that
make
motion
that.
to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Okay.